This is kind of an interesting one. Certainly not like a top tier opponent compared to some of the other opponents that we've already talked about, like Indiana, Ohio State, USC, but certainly not a bad team. Somewhat like our preview of Washington was like last week. Because this, again, you really, I feel like, especially over the last 2 years, you really never know what you're going to get out of Rutgers. And we kind of saw that when the Illini played Rutgers last year. We'll get into that. Illini, November 1st, are going to be playing the Scarlet Knights. We are getting into the back half of the schedule here when looking ahead. The week before, Rutgers will be at Purdue, so they will already be in the area and not traveling over from the East Coast. All time against Rutgers, the Illini and the Scarlet Knights have only met 9 times ever, which I know that Rutgers is, they don't feel like a new addition anymore, but still in the grand scheme of things, they're a more recent addition to the Big Ten, right? When they landed them in Maryland for their East Coast expansion. God, that was probably like 10, 15 years ago. They've been in a conference for a bit now. And I know that there are 4 newer teams who are much bigger brands than Rutgers are, but this really did remind me that Rutgers is still very new to the Big Ten because they've only faced the Illini 9 times, actually. And their first meeting wasn't until 2005. That was on September 3rd, 2005. The Illini won a 33-30 game in Champaign. The next year, they played them in New Jersey in 06. So they did a home and home in 05 and 06, and those were the first times they ever met each other. And then they didn't face each other again until they were conference opponents, starting in 2016. So I just think it's wild that they hadn't met before 2005, because Rutgers is like literally considered the birthplace of college football. They're the oldest program known to man, and Illinois has also been playing football since the late 1800s, right? We were talking about Indiana and we're talking about 1890 something. So it's just crazy to me that both these teams existed for over a century without meeting each other, but now they are in the same conference, so they meet quite a bit. Their last meeting came last season on November 23rd. That was a win for the Illini at Rutgers, but it was a real close game. They really gave our defense a run for their money. 38-31, the Illini pulled that one off. Their last meeting in Champaign, though, like this year's meeting will be, was on October 30th of 2021, in which the Illini lost 20-14. And then their last win, like the last time the Illinois has beaten Rutgers in Champaign, was in 2019 on November 2nd. That was a 38-10 clobbering of the Scarlet Knights. So recent history for Rutgers football, it's been okay. I mean, they really were not good for most of their time in the Big Ten. They've started to kind of pull it together these last couple years. They're not great, but they are certainly a functional team. And have been on the way up, especially when it comes to actual conference play. So in 2024, they were 7-6 overall, 4-5 in the Big Ten. And the Big Ten was really good last year. 4-5 is not bad at all. And they were 3-2 on the road, which is also very good to have a positive record on the road. They actually started 4-0 last year and then dropped their next 4. So that's certainly upsetting. It shows the potential that this team has, no doubt. Their wins were Howard, Akron, at Virginia Tech, then Washington, Minnesota, at Maryland, and at Michigan State to cap off the regular season. Their losses then were at Nebraska, against Wisconsin, against UCLA, at USC, and then against our Illini, which I just mentioned a little bit ago. They were 7-5. It was a winning season for Rutgers, and in the regular season, so they went to the Rate Bowl, that is in Phoenix, up against Kansas State, and they lost that one. Really good game though, 44-41. A lot of fireworks going off there. 2023, they had the same record at 7-6. 3-6 in the Big Ten, though, so they improved last year over this 2023 season. And they were 1-4 away. They were not good on the road. They were pretty rough in the Big Ten schedule overall. They ended up 6-6, though. Went to I love these bowl names, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. That's the one at Yankee Stadium. And they actually beat Miami to make that a winning season as well. That was 31-24. 2022, though, they were not as successful. They haven't been crazy successful, but they've been solid these last 2 years, especially for how they've been. Because they were 4-8 in 2022 and 1-8 in the Big Ten, 2-4 away. Their only Big Ten win was Indiana. Guys, remember when Indiana used to suck? They would lose to one-win Rutgers. They got absolutely smacked in like all their other games. They only had 1 or 2 games that were even like within 10 points. They just got clobbered by some of these teams. Had some tough opponents, though, to be fair. 2021, they were 5-8. They were 2-7 in the Big Ten, still abysmal. And then 3-3 away. Their Big Ten wins, though, embarrassingly, were at Illinois. We were bad then. And then at Indiana again. So who would have thought that the two teams that couldn't even beat Rutgers in 2021, now 4 years later, their matchup is like one of the marquee matchups of the entire Big Ten schedule? Who would have thought Illinois and Indiana would be where they are now when they were getting beat by Rutgers? Wow. That's some perspective for you. They were 5-7 that year. Rutgers was. Back to them now. They played in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, though, because they do like to let 5-7 teams in. But a 5-7 team that's 2-7 in their conference should not be in a bowl game at all. And they put them in the Gator Bowl, which is not a low-profile bowl. And they played Wake Forest, who was ranked 20th in the country. What the actual hell were we thinking with the scheduling? So Wake Forest smacked them 38-10. I don't understand how they got in that bowl, but they lost that, so they were 5-8 overall. And then in the shortened season in 2020, they were 3-6 and 3-1 on the road. Those last 5 years that we just covered are also the full tenure of, or rather the full latest tenure of Greg Schiano at Rutgers. Greg was a defensive back in college. He actually began his career at Rutgers. He took over a very struggling program at the end of December 2000. And led them to their first bowl appearance since 1978 when he took over for them in 2000, and then built them into a pretty consistent winner. He was there then from 2001 till 2011, a nice 10-year run he had with Rutgers, took him to 7 bowl games, many winning seasons as well. Got them all the way up to number 7 in the AP poll, going back to 2006. So I really good stuff. He got their first ever bowl win, too, in 2006. He had a great first tenure at Rutgers. So good that the reason he left was to go to the NFL. He joined the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and was their head coach in 2012 and in 2013. He had a 2-year run with the Buccaneers. It did not go as well as his time at Rutgers did, though. So he was out after just 2 years with the Bucs in the NFL, but then he just like jumped around a little bit as most coaches do, and then back to Rutgers starting in 2020. He returned because they were really struggling. They had won 3 games over the last 4 seasons in the Big Ten before he took over. So this will be his 6th season of his second stint, but actually, when you count his other time at Rutgers, it'll be his 17th year with the program in total, and he is the all-time wins leader in program history. So yeah, very interesting there to see him come back when it didn't work out in the NFL, but I'm certainly he's doing it again. He is slowly building Rutgers into a much better program. He inherited a really, really bad Rutgers program. The second time around, even worse than the one he inherited at the end of 2000. So good for him, man. He's gotten them back-to-back winning seasons. He just received a contract extension as well. He'll be signed through 2030. So the Illini will be seeing him a few more times at least. So yeah, that's Greg Schiano for you. We got to run through these athletes now because we got 2 minutes. So on the offensive side of things, these are going to be the biggest players on Rutgers to watch out for us Illini fans. Oh my God! I just realized I didn't have that little ticker at the bottom of the screen this whole time. Well, it could be here for these last 90 seconds. So you got Athan Kaliakmanis. I definitely butchered that, but he was their quarterback. He is a senior, actually transferring over from Minnesota. So he started all 12 games for them in 2024. He had just under 2,500 yards and 17 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions, a 123.9 passer rating, which is dang good. Then you got Kyle Monangai. I'm definitely butchering these, right? I think I ought to be butchering these because I'm just like running through them. He's a running back. He led the Big Ten in all rushing yards last season with 1,262 and 8 touchdowns. So a really dangerous dual threat quarterback and running back. And then they got a pair of wide receivers who you go out and look out for as well. You got Ian Strong. He had 676 yards, 43 catches, 5 touchdowns, got about 56 per game. And then you got Demary Miller at wide receiver as well. He led the team actually with 757 receiving yards, 59 catches total, and 4 touchdowns in 2024. So good stuff out of all of them. And then on the defensive end, real quick, you got, oh man, these names. You got Daryl Dujabome. That's not right at all. He's a linebacker. He had 105 tackles, led the team last year, though. Whatever his name is, you got to watch out for him. He is very dangerous. Then you got Tareem Powell, also at linebacker, 201 tackles in his whole career. He has had a lot of injuries throughout his career, but every time he's come back, he's been very consistent. Then you've got Robert Longerbeam. He is a defensive back. He led the Big Ten in passes defended last year, actually, with 13. Then you got Keontae Hamilton on the defensive line as well. He had 4 sacks in 2024. Got him an all Big Ten honorable mention.